Oh, hey, it's you. Welcome to the Black Pill, where we, for some reason, review movies that came out a decade ago. So let's talk about Magic Mike XXL. All beef, no pickle. Ah, good. I know what your your first question is why are we talking about this movie from 2015? Okay, but you get into the review, and your first question is the one you're not asking. And the answer to that one is no. Channing Tatum does not do the pickle shot. No pickles on those all beef patties. One might wonder, what's the point about movies about male strippers without any schlongas in evidence? And the answer is probably the bizarrely hypocritical ratings board. I know what your next question is, and the answer to that one is yes. Twitch looks pretty good in a banana hammock. There's plenty of beef. If there's no pickles, the movie at least grudgingly gives you some buns. There is dancing. Channing Tatum has moves. Twitch had serious moves, but didn't get to showcase them all that much. Be ashamed to show up Magic Mike, maybe? I saw this film on a Friday night, July 3rd, 8 years ago. There were about 30 other people in the theater, primarily women. Okay, exclusively women. I was there for a new domain who I was writing for at the time, so I had my eyes and ears on to everything. Aside from some meta commentary in the advertising, nothing else was all that notable. So why was the place full of women? Is it the way the movie was sold? Because this is not primarily a beefcake movie. I mean, it is a beefcake movie, but it's a road trip movie. First, a stoner road trip buddy movie. Are we so homophobic we can't stand a little male nudity? If so, why do we watch so many action films? Some amusing scenes involve peeing on the beach, crashing the team bus, a froyo truck, while on Molly, and Channing Tatum getting whacked in the jollies. Complete road trip film. Moreover, the whole film from start to finish is a male fantasy. You heard me right. This is a bro movie. All the powerful players are women. The conference gatekeeper is a woman. Jada Pinkett Smith plays a club owner, basically a brothel for female customers, in which all the guests are queens and their men humble servants there to make them happy. All the women in the club are black ladies with tons of money to spend. A side character, played by Andy McDowell, is a 50-ish divorcee who kept everything in the divorce. She got the house, the rolls, the wine cellar. And she teaches her daughters to sow their wild oats and play the field. Empowered women? Why is this a male fantasy? See, I'm still doing the mind reading trick from earlier. It's because of this. If the world is fair, then we deserve what we have. In Magic Mike, women don't have jealous, hypocritical husbands holding them back. They have money to burn on strippers, lots of it. Guys getting a divorce need a male rights lawyer because women get it all. Women own all the business. We have to work hard with our hands. Mike works 20 hours a day trying to start a furniture business, while women sit back and reap the rewards of being pretty. Empowered black people? Why is that a male fantasy? Well, a white male fantasy. For all the same reasons, because if integration already happened, then we don't owe anybody anything. This is what libertarians think, that we all get an equal start, that there is social justice already, and therefore the government has no business mucking around in our lives, picking winners and losers. But fundamentally, this isn't true. It's a fantasy. Next, men know how to exercise. I could have a body like Channing Tatum if I wanted, and he isn't even as pretty as I am. I'm simply too lazy to put in the time. More fantasy. This one. Women want us for our bodies. All we have to do is get in shape and flash our abs. There's something strangely feminine about Tanning showing us his hairless, tight stomach about 2/3 into the show, and women shove dollar bills all over us. And here's a weird thing in the movie: there are dollar bills all over the floor, always. Nobody stops to pick any of them up. XXL does a fair job portraying the seedy side of things. The narcotics, the booze, sort of washed up aspect, the joblessness and homelessness that underlie the lives of many exotic dancers, but they fail to demean them properly by having them stoop to sweep up the money on the floor. Not a tsunami of bills, but the grudging, wrinkled ones, and sometimes $2 bills used to fool dancers into thinking they got 20s, one at a time, shoving them into a G string to be counted and taxed by the club owner. The house gets a percentage. I have to be a little rough with Channing Tatum here. Channing Tatum is more like Magic Mike than we probably want to believe. Acting is not a staircase to the top, a gliding Donald Trump escalator. It's a greasy stripper pole. And sometimes to make it to the top, you have to climb over some other strippers. I mean, actors. Actors. Oh, I wrote this in 2015. The controversy of the day was women in a Ghostbusters movie, which was really good. Tatum seems to have agreed to play in a Ghostbusters remake. The press releases are downplaying the anti-feminist aspects of this agreement, but the story seems to be essentially this: Paul Feig is making a Ghostbusters reboot. Here we go, with Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig, Leslie Jones, Kate McKinnon, 4 female Ghostbusters. When this news was announced, the internet went crazy. First out from under their nasty little rocks were the misogynist trolls, women haters. I won't repeat any of the remarks made here, but the general sentiments are that the Ghostbusters were male in '84 and we should pretend the world hasn't changed any since then. You know, in terms of women being able to be funny and have careers and maybe get acting roles other than as love interests for the men. For Channing Tatum. And then to this, Drew Pearce. Men demand male Ghostbusters, and Sony Pictures, with the apparent blessing of Ivan Reitman, are eager to comply. Channing Tatum seems to be on board. This never happened, did it? The Ghostbusters reboot, male reboot, didn't happen. But what does this have to do with Magic Mike? Because XXL is a male fantasy, a world in which equal opportunity exists, in which men are the downtrodden sex slaves with nothing to sell but their bodies and their labor. And if you want to be an actor in LA, even the nerd characters have to have abs and broad shoulders now. It's easy to see this fantasy as the reality, that women can sleep their way to the top. But in Hollywood, it seems that's not a privilege, but a necessity. The only way up is to be naked. And here's Channing Tatum, ready to claw his way up the greased stripper pole over the top of Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig. Anyway, the ladies in the theater enjoyed the show. It had some good laughs. They liked the dirty parts. The convenience store impromptu strip show is a classic. They actually applauded at the end of the movie, which at this time hadn't happened since, well, Ghostbusters, 1984. We just don't do that anymore. Then there was a line for the ladies' room, but obviously not for the men's, and I heard all the viewers discussing the show in excited tones. Happy. Mike at one point tells a sad girl that there's nothing like a stripper to put a smile on your face, and I thought that was bullshit. But the ladies, they overruled me. They did indeed like white chocolate. So that's Magic Mike XXL, and this has been the Black Bill. Good night, everybody.